Hello, welcome back. We will be resuming character creation stuff. We're almost done. And specifically, I think folks need to start making up NPCs, maybe making some decisions about their characters' like look and or names, gender, etc. But we're going to have a step where we go around and introduce everyone. So we can kind of hold off that conversation until that moment. I would love to hear some related NPCs for y'all, which I think might also help us flesh out stuff like names and like the culture and stuff that your character brings. Because I feel like for me, those are often...
Yeah, I had a question about name. There's a spot in our character sheet for true name. Is that like our...
So for this one, I would say like scratch out true name and put avatar. Like that would be a spot to list what your avatar is and what their name is.
Okay.
Because this playbook kind of does some like reshaping of how the game like conceptualizes identity. And so I think that's a more appropriate one for this playbook. Y'all don't have so much the like superhero identity that might be present in some of the other.
Yeah, so I have some ideas about my character I could start talking about if that's helpful, or introduce or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
My first one was actually kind of a question about the obligation detail. I just want to make sure this fits.
Yep.
I would like my obligation detail to be that I'm in counseling at the school and I have to attend a mandatory therapy session.
That's a great obligation detail.
Okay. And naturally it's terrible and I hate it.
It must be because it's your,
like
your
possibly
obligation.
My therapist is like reading out of a manual. Then they're like the gym teacher normally, but
yeah, it's the like kind of therapy that is not helpful. That
for whatever
is institutionally mandated.
Not to belittle useful therapy. And then also for one of my NPCs, I would like to be my mother, who is a member of the conspiracy cult, whatever we decide it's like.
Yeah, I was gonna put my mom in, but I don't.
I could go for father instead, but I kind of prefer mother just because girls, femininity.
Girls.
Yeah, I do think, Andrew, from memory, it is fairly key that we not pre-assume too much about the connection of our NPCs to conspiracy, because that's kind of what we're playing to find out.
Well, yeah, and like because someone is in the cult.
That true doesn't mean they're a bad person.
That doesn't mean that they're like an awful person. They might have reasons for getting involved. Or
I mean,
the depth of their
maybe
involvement is variable.
Maybe I'll explain a little more about what I'm conceiving. As a background, we can decide if that makes sense. So I've gone back and forth on whether my character is a victim of the kind of online gestalt part of the virus, and I think it's more interesting for me, at least for her, to have been a victim or a member of whatever the like Masonic undergirding.
The offline, yeah.
And I think her parents were members, and that's how she became involved. So she just grew up in this environment. My mind went very quickly to like cult, like Jonestown type isolated cult, but I don't know if that's really appropriate for our setting. It seems like I was curious about that because I think I can't remember who initially kind of introduced that idea. Maybe it was Ash, but was it more like conspiring Masonic thing, or was it more like cult
like there's a compound and like that's a very...
It's also maybe a question for Andrew, like whatever the ideology of the original cult is presumably the ideology that has become a virus, and we don't really know what it is yet. So
I have a broader question, which is like, because I share this conception of a cult, which I feel like is probably a very American one, of the like they have a compound
those
they
exist
take people
in Japan.
into, and they isolate people. I guess this is true.
Sarin gas thing was
and Australia.
And in Australia. Okay, so this is a more broad.
They exist here. I originally thought of like hooded figures and.
So more Masonic.
It's more just that it's weird for me because like when I hear cult, my brain immediately goes to like the Eleusinian mysteries.
Yeah, I mean, I like
because
that
that's my academic background. So I'm like, yes, let's talk about like early cultic religion. But like, I understand that is not what
that's where I wanted to end up going. I'm kind of
cool,
or something closer to that, just because it kind of depends how old we want this virus to be.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my idea was that my parents were heavily involved, and they used me in one of the rituals, which is a ritual of some kind of sacrifice, or they made me into a vessel somehow. Maybe I was part of how it got online. Who knows? I was imagining something like there's a text, or there's a book, or there's a whatever, and I became a vessel for part of it, and a bunch of other people did too.
There's a code.
Yeah. Okay, I like this idea. I definitely like the idea of them like ritually preparing you to like receive this thing or embody this thing.
And maybe I did receive it, and it's still in me. That's kind of my idea for the avatar. But anyway, so I was thinking I would like one of my parents to be one of the people, but then I know they're members of the cult. Like, there's no like, I wonder how they're involved. I could not know how heavily they're involved.
Well, because to me, there's that thing of like, what is the depth and nature of their involvement?
What is their motive? Like, one can be a member of the cult. Being a member and a victim is an entirely possible thing.
Exactly.
Like,
why did my mother give me up to this, or my father, or whoever decided like what?
And maybe they carry that as a big like shame inside of them, and they regret it and have all these feelings, or maybe they're like, yes, that was the right thing to do. And
anyway, the idea for me also is that my character has since been extracted, like even in real society, has been pulled out of that environment, is now living like with my grandmother or some other family members who are wealthy but cruel and distant, because everyone's cruel and distant. So, and so I've kind of been given a second chance, but that's why I have this mandatory therapy, because I'm
because the broader society basically views you as having been like damaged by this experience.
It's rough.
That's which requires that I have at least some public face. Like there's some public face to it, but maybe it's not the most occult part. It's like.
All right, fam. Here we go.
Does that work for everyone?
That seems great.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So I have my NPCs.
Okay.
So my character, I think I'm an orphan.
Cool.
I think like my mother, like died at some indeterminate period during my like pre-adolescence. I haven't like committed to a space there. And my jerk-ass dad, like... Well, he may or may not be a jerk, right? Like, my father couldn't handle single parenthood.
Yeah.
And fucked off.
And, like, gave you up. Or
yeah, and, like, exactly what that looks like, you know, in terms of his emotional motivation is unclear. And I was old enough and, like, stubborn enough and already kind of cynical enough that I was like, actually, the system is bad. And so I just, like, it wasn't a case of like my father was like, oh, and now I'm going to hand you over. It was just, he just like stopped coming back every week from his business shit to check on me. And I was just like, hey, I'm just not going to tell anyone. And so now I'm like living on the couch of like an older friend.
So wait, are you a weird caretaker of yourself?
Among other people, yes.
Okay.
This is the like kid who has to grow up and become a parent at a really young age, and then
yeah, it's a bit of shades of that.
I was thinking maybe you could have a younger sibling.
The other, I'll think about it. The other part of my caretaker thing is that my obligation detail is that because I'm like slightly older than everyone, or just because like I'm like physically quite like large, I haven't decided yet, but like I can't fit into the real world maintenance ducts. And so my part of the job is that like I work maintaining all of the tools that you'll use and all the like safety harnesses and shit. And so this great and terrible responsibility is on me that like if I fuck up, all of you are at risk. And I'm like, constantly about that. So my NPC, yeah. So my NPCs are Lane, an absent father, and Boone, a generous friend.
Okay. Do you want to be real nice to me and cross those out in the name list?
No.
Oh, I'm going to cross names out too.
I refuse.
Oh, wait, there's a list. Where's the list?
In the bottom right corner of the series playbook, there is a list. It's like,
and I'm also going to cross out my name from the list because I gave myself a name from the list, which is Heart.
Luke, can you repeat the second one? It was so you have Lane, an absent father, and
Boone, a generous friend.
A generous friend, right? So this
is the one whose
couch
I am currently crashing on.
Yeah. Okay.
And Boone is like maybe like an anarchist who is like I feel like some of the like cynicism comes from there, though certainly not all of it. But like I haven't fully been like, yes, I am on board with your belief that we should tear down society. That's where I'm heading that way. That's my arc.
Okay, so when people say anarchist, my mind goes to like the kind of commune-oriented anarchism.
No, I'm
you're
talking
talking
anarchist in the sense of like dismantle the current systems of government so that we can all be self.
Okay.
Like not let's have communes within the current system. Let's abolish the current system, and then create a new system based on communes.
Cool.
Like broader scale anarchist.
Yeah, so like a
kind of
revolutionary anarchist or a...
Yeah, with grander ideals.
So I have characterized them then as being Boone, a generous friend and incendiary.
Yes, I think that sounds like a very accurate description, and I'm going to put that on my character sheet now.
Cool.
I have my NPCs.
Yeah, Ash, hit me.
Anne is my mother, and she is like a wildly successful prodigy within the like existing system. She probably like has invented some of the technology that is like holding the world together. In my head, she looks like Imogen Heap.
She's the wire lady.
Yeah, right.
She invented
like,
the wires.
It's not just the wires; it's like a interchange router that like efficiently, like some weird
that makes
little,
the wires work or
but
some
essential
bullshit, yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your
it was
character's name, Ash? Sorry.
My character's name is Caesar.
Right, Caesar. So Caesar's mom, an inventor.
Yep. And so she was like a straight A student, probably successful in some probably very good at like some sport that is like archery or table tennis. She was probably like liked by everyone, and and would have been crowned like homecoming queen, like prom queen or whatever, had she attended.
Right. She was like a model citizen, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one.
My other one is my little brother Seb, because he looks up to me, and the fact that I'm the fact that we're both children of this like larger than life figure, there's this kind of sense of like rebellion and carving your own path.
Yeah, living in your mother's shadow.
Yeah, so he looks up to me as like he would want me to be more rebellious than I am, so that he can be like, hey, I'm like you, rebellious, but like there's that thing of like I'm not. I kind of hold back a bit.
So it sounds like Seb is looking for something, right? Like he wants there to be this exciting figure.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound vulnerable to the badness of this setting at all.
No, I think he's probably fine.
Daniel, did you pick a name for your mother? Do you have any thoughts? Okay. No rush. Just checking. Just making sure.
Also,
is it important that we pick from the list, or can I just pick a random?
You can pick a random name if you want as well. It's entirely up to you. If nothing on the list jumps out at you, like by all means. All the names on the list are monosyllabic as well, so that might not suit for some characters.
Andrew, could we just edit Lane to like, just because like for ease of reading, so that we all remember that he's Hart's father specifically?
Oh, right. Hart's absent father. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that matters. Kira, do you have any thoughts forming for NPCs and stuff?
I do. I picked them out, I think.
Cool.
So my Enigma, my tuxedo mask is, her name is Case.
Case, great.
Yeah, because I'm William Gibson Trash, and that's fine.
So am I. That's why that name's there.
I figured that's why it was there, so I'm using it. What are my NPCs? So my Enigma is a lot about being a forbidden lover and a best friend, and like masked, wears many masks, of identity. And so I thought some good NPCs for them would be their first girlfriend, whose name is Tiff. And so they're in high school, right? I think they're in high school. So like they were both kind of weirdos and kind of figured it out somehow, and dated, but it didn't go too well, so they broke up, but they're still friends. And my parents don't care about me at all. Like they would rather I was not around, I think. So they ignore me. I'm kind of what's that word? What is the word? Neglected. And so I was thinking that I would have like a mentor character who's like an older kid, like maybe a senior or like a college kid.
Yep.
Your senpai.
Yeah. And like maybe they know my secret, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just have an idea that I'm hiding things, and they just kind of help me out. And their name is Kyo.
Sorry, can you repeat the name?
Kyo or Kyo. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, sure.
And they're totally like also like genderqueer and like this big like queer role model, right? Like,
Yeah.
Is it that thing? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's that idea, but like through the metaphor of the tuxedo mask drama, right?
And so what are some descriptors that I can put with Kyo? They're older.
Yeah, they're older. I guess yeah. Also genderqueer. Really stylish. Like, very
nice.
Very cool. Like tattoos and weird hair and makeup, and there's like sparkles around them when they come on screen, like that type of character.
Case's mentor, a fashion icon.
Yeah, Case's mentor would totally be the prince in that genre of anime, the prince type character, regardless of gender presentation. Like,
yeah.
Like in fucking Nozaki-kun, with like the female character who is in that prince role, and all the girls like swoon.
Sure, yeah, or in
good content.
or like,
Oran, yeah.
Like anything. So so senpai, I guess, or whatever.
Cool. Does anyone owe me a debt of a character still?
I do, I think.
Okay.
I was thinking of maybe a teacher.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. I was imagining like maybe a very young teacher who just joined the school. So it's closer to
like more of a peer. Yeah,
I'm just thinking of someone in terms of someone who could be involved with the contemporary conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely already getting vibes that Kyo, by way of fashion, is like peripheral. Like that's the tie-in there.
I forgot about that, but yeah, that makes sense.
And we haven't been super explicit with a lot of them, but I can already see ways that all of these characters kind of connect in just because of how the setting has been established.
Yeah, so in terms
Andrew, sorry, Daniel, if you're in the middle of a thing.
That's okay. Cool.
Yeah, what's up, Luke?
Just three things. One, Char's mother is not a clutist.
Okay. She could be an excellent flute player. Yeah.
One, there's that, just to be that jerk.
It's pronounced Clautist?
Cloutist?
Flautist, exactly.
No, because then in that case, that would be spelled like flautist, which is an AU. Anyway. Secondly, I have just realized, is there a way that you can set your text to be controllable by us? Because otherwise, this conspiracy map is going to have limited utility because we can't move around the objects.
We could put the things in the conspiracy map into the series playbook if we wanted.
I feel like that's going to be harder. Like it's going to be less accessible than just having it like visually represented like this.
I mean, yeah, I want these to be editable by y'all, but
well, we can probably work on that.
Roll20's UX needs some work.
Okay, just tell you what, you can remake the Clutist and all the other characters in text that you can edit. How about that?
I mean, other people cool, because like the issue is that then I am the only one who can move them around.
Luke, I'm happy for you to be bookkeeper.
Are they possessive in that way? Yeah, and everyone can just be like, Luke, a little to the left.
Yeah, text in this game is possessive in that way, unfortunately. Okay. Also, on which note, unless anyone has an objection, I'm gonna, for starting positions, I'm just gonna put them around the outer wheel, and then we can like move them from there. Also, Andrew, it looks like Kira's character hasn't yet been set, so everyone can view.
Oh shit! I missed one.
I can't see her.
Also, Luke, when you do things, Anne has two N's.
Yes, I remember. I was going to point it out to Andrew at the time, but then I decided to be nice.
Oh, because I did the wrong thing.
Yes.
There we go.
Kira, I have a promise for you.
Yes.
I have a promise for Case.
Okay.
I promise you, I will be the better man.
What a horrible promise.
I don't know what this means.
So
What is it?
this is a great intro to the concept of promises. So
I got very nervous when you said that.
Ash, you're paining me. You're physically paining me.
it's not just Ash being a drama llama. There's also a game mechanic here.
So it is also that thing.
Which is that each character or each player will need to write 2 promises for their character that point at 2 other player characters. And the promises have prompts on your character sheet. And in the new version, the prompts will be more readable because they're kind of fucked up in this one. I've already fixed it on my document. But anyways, down, if you're looking at the regular character sheet, it's right above your stress track. It says promises. And then I can read them out. So here, Guardian has a promise of martyrdom and a protective promise. The Enigma has a secretive promise and an intimate promise. The Unlikely Hero has a naive promise and an impossible promise. And the Outsider has a promise of rivalry and a promise to exceed. And it sounds like, Ash, that the promise to exceed is directed at Case and is about being...
No, that's the promise of rivalry.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, that's the perception that Caesar has of Case.
It's
right?
like Case is trying to be tougher and cooler and more man than him.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh. Okay.
Like that promise is
3 of them.
specifically promise is specifically aimed at your at your masculine presentation.
Yes.
And the fact that you can switch into a feminine presentation is the thing that.
Yeah. And is it obvious? Like, do I know that that's what you're trying to do?
I think we'll find out in play.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the promises can be explicitly stated. Like, this could be something that you have said to one another, or this can be like a, like that inner, like, brooding kind of promise that Ash has just put forward, that this is like something that Caesar has promised himself about, this other person.
Cool.
The significance of promises is that playing towards them will earn you XP.
Cool. So should we go around the table and like each pick 2 people that we're pointing out, basically?
Yeah, we can kind of do it popcorn style of, like, as stuff comes up, assigning them. It also might be helpful to do a little quick go around with a name, pronouns, description kind of setup, so we all have a better sense of who we're... Because some of the characters I feel like I have a good picture of, and some of them I don't.
I like that idea.
I also meant to add a little bit more detail to the teacher NPC. I think the reason it's an NPC for my character is I think that teacher is aware of my past and is, unlike my therapist person assigned, has somehow bonded with me or is sympathetic to that, and so we have a kind of beginning of a friendship or something like that. She's kind of...
Yeah, it's like a sympathetic...
Imagine that maybe the teacher has herself had some kind of traumatic past or something that has made her sympathetic, but that has not been revealed, or...
Yeah, that, this teacher has survived their own...
yeah, they've had their own problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. So who's introducing their character first?
I can do it.
Yeah, it sounds like Ash has a good conception, like a strong...
Yeah, I've got a pretty strong understanding of Caesar because it's...
It's a Gary stew.
It so is. So angry about it. Caesar is has a sharp... It's played by... so Caesar is played by Asa Butterfield, not like the young Asa Butterfield, and they always get to wear his hair down so that he looks all cute and small. Like when he puts his hair up and actually looks like a teenager / adult, like a young man. He's kind of wiry, with a a sort of teenage Bruce Lee sort of shape. He has kind of bluey gray eyes, and he is very, very like he rides this line between, you know, trying to be the best version of himself he possibly can to like live up to his mother's reputation and all these sorts of things, also being incredibly angry about that all the time. And then the reason that he like, yeah, he sees Case and is like you're just being successful at being you, and that's not acceptable. So
Deeply resents anyone who is just like at home in their own skin and comfortable and confident.
yeah,
I love the gender rivalry. I think that's really fun.
yeah, that's me. His pronouns are he, him, for now.
Subject to change.
What does he look like though? Like, what does he wear?
What's his fashions like?
Yeah, I mean, he tends to wear like hoods, tall like collars, like big jackets and things that like tend to hide his shape. Despite the fact that like he's like, well, I'm very attractive. I have a very attractive man body. But like for some reason, all of his clothes tend to be like very sculptural in that they create their own shapes and things like that. Lots of belts. He's one of those people who has a thing for like head related accessories, so headphones, hats, goggles, those sorts of things. Yeah.
And did you talk about race at all?
Yeah, I think I'm going to like, I'm using Ace of Butterfield as the base because yeah, we had that discussion earlier about race, and because I usually GM and I GM with a wide variety of like people from different racial backgrounds. But as a player, if I'm going to deep dive into a character, I'm not sure I feel like I can go deeply enough into a character that is not white appearing.
Cool.
Yep. Anyone else feel like they've got a handle on things?
Oh, should we also describe our avatars?
Oh yeah, now is a perfectly good time to do so. Ash, do you have any kind of preliminary ideas about that?
Yeah, I have a picture of mine. It's Natalie Dormer. Like,
but where did you find the pieces of that in other people's dreams?
So like I imagine that her skin is like titanium or aluminium or like brushed steel. She's like 100% like, it's that thing of the porcelain doll thing, but instead of porcelain it's steel or similar. And yeah, I think she's mostly sculpted. Her name is Viola, the avatar's name. And yeah, Luke's picking up what I'm laying down. There we go, we got it.
What is it?
Did you notice the little brother's name, Luke?
Yeah, it's a reference to Twelfth Night, which is Shakespeare's like most gender fucky play.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's good. It's good.
I like it because
good shit.
Because whoever's playing Cesario / Viola in Twelfth Night traditionally would have been a man pretending to be a woman pretending to be a man, which I was like, yes.
I saw a production like that in London when I was there a couple of years ago, and it was really good.
Yeah.
So Caesar / Viola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, she is very like, there's a lot of like ornateness about her appearance. Probably like skirt boning without like the actual skirt and things like that. Lace that stands on its own. Probably again like made of like steel or like carbon fiber, and things like that.
And so to tie this back into our kind of aesthetic for the dream, are these are like industrial materials that have then been twisted and changed into these very like aesthetically refined or like high status kind of formats.
Yeah, and also like all of the like really detailed stuff though would be like taking, you know, elements of like like lace and things like that, and then like taking them and applying the form, taking the form of like lace or those sorts of things and kind of applying it to the material, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like a stamping or coding process. Yeah, one of the two.
Those sorts of things. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love the notion that like Caesar meticulously constructed this thing in the dream, and that like there's a level of like craft to it.
I really like the idea that like a crafting workspace or a forge or something in that aesthetic is like a key motif in your personal dream space. That like that is where the label was done.
Yeah, it's totally a thing of that. There would be this thing of him. I think he would be almost in a fugue state while doing it, though, because it's an expulsion, right? Yeah. It's an attempt to excise part of himself.
Interesting. Okay,
that's cool.
Who is next?
Sorry, Kira. What was that?
I just made a noise. I said,
I'm trying to figure out what you were trying to convey with the noise.
Okay,
is that like me next, or a me not next, or like Daniel, you go? It's just a noise.
That was a really good description of an avatar, and I'm like, how can I do something cool like that? I'm trying to think of a good avatar description. So someone go ahead of me.
Like I said, I spent all morning looking at pictures of Natalie Dormer.
I did not see that, and now I'm suffering.
My morning.
Okay,
is not as
I have a description of my character.
Okay, great.
So my character is Heart, the unlikely hero, and the heart of the team. Haha, it's a pun.
Great work.
That means the sacrificial deer that we kill, right?
Yes.
Also that, right? Like this is a layered pun here, fam. Pronouns are he, him, his, at least at this point. And in terms of look, Heart is like short and like squat, like quite broad-shouldered and like broad-hipped and like built on quite a large frame, even though he's only like maybe like 5'3". So I think he takes up a lot of sideways space. He's got like messy hair that is cut, but like he cuts himself because his living circumstances don't allow him to maintain a hashtag aesthetic. So he just like cuts his own hair with scissors, so it's like really rough and choppy. And similarly, his clothes are just like a bunch of like layers of other clothes, and like some of them are probably like, you know, have holes in them or are torn or whatever, but like he only has so many clothes, and so he just like layers it up to like make up for it. And so like t-shirt and then like a sweater thing and then like a hoodie and then like a big jackety type thing or whatever. So he's like even more like physically large than, you know, he would otherwise be. Lots of like really neutral earth tones, so like browns and like warm grays and like like really dark blues verging into blacks. His hands look like the hands of someone like 10 years older. They're like incredibly like scarred and worn and calloused from his work with like the machinery and the safety gear.
Because he's in like a metal shop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's got all these like burns, and like similarly, like all of his like all up his sleeves is like burnt and singed.
Do you know that thing that happens? It's like really common amongst like car mechanics and stuff, where because of their exposure to a lot of the kinds of chemicals and solvents that are used in that trade, their fingers become thicker.
I've totally been picturing that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
That's my dad.
Yeah.
I just thought he had big hands.
No, your skin reacts in those ways.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing.
But yeah, and so he's got green eyes, and yeah, just like super unkempt, and like the hems of like his trousers are always like caked with like dirt or mud, and I don't know that he wears shoes.
He works in a metal shop, Luke.
That's fair.
This is a safety concern. Okay, you gotta have some steel-toed shoes.
Yeah, okay, but like outside of that context, right? Like by preference, I think he prefers not to wear shoes. So like he's just padding around the corridors of the school in just bare feet, but the hems of his trousers are long enough that like no one can tell.
And they drag on the ground, and yeah.
Yeah, and so he gets away with it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I think he is of like mixed ethnicity. But I don't know that he knows necessarily like the specifics of that.
Right, he doesn't have a cultural heritage because he is an orphan. So
Like I think his father was white, his bad runaway father, and I think his mother like died or left or like whatever the situation there, like early enough that he doesn't really have distinct enough memories. Like he's like, yes, I know that my mother, like me, was not a white person, but he was not of an age to be like, yes, my mother is like insert ethnicity here.
Yeah, there's that threat.
So he doesn't know. But like I think we probably like Southeast Asian is my feeling.
Okay.
Like I think we as an audience can see that.
How do we
in him?
Can I like? Are we feeling like Vietnam, Indonesia, or like Malay? Like
Yeah.
I also have a
because there's kind of like there's kind of two.
Yeah, I'm feeling more like Philippines, Malay,
Yeah, cool.
Timor, Bali, like that space.
When we talk about someone as being in this setting that we're establishing, is the prevailing like default that people are white? Are we in a city where that is the like expected
I feel like it's
standard
really
default
multicultural.
thing?
Like if we're
Or
talking
is it
about
a
like
very diverse place? Yeah.
Hong Kong, I like the idea that it's like super Cowboy Bebop multicultural.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Like
and then
there's
in terms
oppressive
of
bodies, and these bodies are diverse, but they are like pressed into conformity.
well, yeah, and then yeah, we have the like melting pot notion of conformity where people conform by way of their dress, deportment, attitudes, language, haircuts.
I feel like the thing about him that is weird in that space, and the thing that sets him apart is that like we live in this incredibly melting pot society, but like part of that is all of these people know their heritage, and that is the thing. They're all like, yes, like I'm a citizen of this city, and also I'm Indian or I'm Chinese, and he's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just from here. Like, there's a disconnectedness to that.
Are the predominant races in the city that we're in / ethnicities Chinese and Indian?
No, those were like random. Like we've just agreed that it's a melting pot. Like they're hypothetical examples.
I have a question. Even in melting pots, there's a dominant ethnicity.
I would have it. I would think that like Chinese would be
That's what I was thinking too.
Assumption.
Yeah. Cool.
If we're in Hong Kong, then
If everyone feels comfortable kind of playing in that space, I'm down to give it a swing.
okay.
I will certainly apologize if I make mistakes, and I will try not to, and do my best to be respectful and all that stuff, and I'm sure the rest of the table will as well. Because my follow-up question...
Why I'm more interested in us being in a Hong Kong analog than Hong Kong, and similarly...
Yeah, same.
I want implicit wiggle room. That's not going to obviate any responsibility we have. I'm just...
Yeah, just to not need to... We don't need to like slavishly adhere to some kind of verisimilitude around Hong Kong specifically, but it's a city that has like all of the photos or all the back... Like this...
Extremely
the
dense.
show is shot there, but the city is not.
That's our
called
filming
Hong Kong.
location.
Yeah. So my last little follow up to this whole conversation around like ethnicity, etc., would be: does that flag you as someone who is high or low status, or how does that factor into how society sees you?
I think the fact that I, the fact that I don't know what my heritage is, in a lot of ways makes me I model like minority, in that they're like, yes, like this is the ideal goal. Like you're ameliorated into just being a citizen to the most like extreme extent because you don't know where you're from.
We have erased
like you're just
so
from
much.
the city.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so there's like a certain kind of model or virtue to it.
Yeah, but like at the same time, it is like within a frame of being like patronizing. Like,
Okay, yeah.
it's not like you are like a high class citizen as a result. It's like you are a good low class citizen.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
doing the thing you should be doing. Yeah, and yeah, like they're like there's like dirt around the hem of their like trousers, and yeah.
They're just kind of, I
And
feel
I'm
like
not-
they're
I'm not-
very like scruffy and kind of dissolving. Like their silhouette is really indistinct and kind of
Yeah, totally,
general,
totally.
and their color palette
Totally.
is always.
And
kinda
I'm not going to talk about my avatar yet because y'all don't get to know.
yeah, well,
Like I know I have it all planned out, but I'm not going to tell you.
that's a big.
It's a big
epiphany
reveal.
Scene. Okay, does anyone else have character descriptions they want to share?
Sure, I can go next. So my character's name, my character goes by Char, and I uploaded a character portrait so you can kind of see what her face looks like, maybe her attitude. But that's not her actual given name. I haven't figured out what it is, but her given name is some kind of like the kind of name that if you know about names clearly marks her as a member of this society. Like it's not a name that a normal person would have. Like there's certain names
the like
are
cult
numerologically
secret
significant.
society.
Hmm?
Of the like occult secret society society.
It's like a name that is fortuitous in whatever numerological, kabbalistic, ideological occult thing they abide by.
Mhm.
So it's probably similar to a regular name, but it's spelled differently or something. Who knows?
Yeah, like a thing like Charity or Evangeline or something like
Yeah,
that.
it
is
might
like
be.
a
Yeah, I
virtue
haven't really
name?
thought about it yet. Exactly.
Yeah, like cross.
I mean, Char coming out of Charity would be,
Yeah.
funny.
Charlotte.
but Charlotte as well. Yeah.
But the point is, I have a name that I no longer go by, and I don't want anyone to call me it. And everyone at the school keeps calling me it.
Right. It's still your legal name. Gross.
But I go by Char.
Cool.
My fashion is subdued. I think of all of us, I probably look the most. I dress the most conformist, the most normal. You know that is kind of a reaction to having been in this strange outside place. We talked about the virus being about fashion and ritual. I think my character has reacted against that. You know, if fashion is the enemy, then I will have no fashion.
Yeah, you dress in the most like
And
conservative.
it's
the least
To the point-
distinguished. Yeah.
I think it's to the point that it still makes her stand out. If we can reference Case again from Pattern Recognition, since I did just read that book, she has the no fashion to some degree. Not to the same, like, she's not knowledgeable at fashion. She doesn't have the obsession about it, but
There's
other
this-
people wear the uniform, but they try to, like, accent it, or they try to do this, or it's just dumpy, and she wears the uniform, and it's like it came out of a...
She's remarkable in her like austere plainness. Yeah.
Is fashion, just real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Daniel,
That's okay.
but is fashion evil? Is all fashion evil?
We don't
or
know.
just conformist fashion?
I mean, in theory, all fashion is a vector for infection.
Yeah,
Okay.
my
Well-
take on it is there's a Sorry, Andrew, you...
So what I'm thinking with it is that there is a set of fashion, like a subset of fashion, a certain style and aesthetic that is part of how people get brought into this weird culty thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's not that
it'd be
clothes
tied
uniformly are like absolutely are
It'd be
problematic.
tied into the element of self-destruction, I imagine. Like it'd be almost like fashion replacing the self.
Yeah, and I think there's a level of like self-effacement, and the ritual tie-in to me is really, I think, significant as well, that these clothes people
So-
wear
As
them
a s-
because they're
as a s-
pretty, but they have a function that underlies that, which is this like ritual. Because I like Daniel's contribution to this idea of his character having been made ready to receive stuff, and that part of that might include like dressing a certain way and embodying these kind of personas and stuff. So
Yeah, like fashion obviates the need for like actual self-expression because you can say it like through like in that ritual sense. You can say these things or express these feelings through what you wear
The
rather than
clothes do
having to
it
actually
for
do
you.
anything.
So
It sounds like there's cult fashion, and then there's other fashion.
Yeah, and that
Okay.
the conservative fashion that Daniel's talking about now is also like the two exist in tension and are kind of doing similar stuff, is what I'm hearing. But let's let Daniel continue. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, I was actually I had something to say about that, which I think maybe is just said. Yeah, I imagine there's the conformist society fashion, which is kind of boring and all the same, and then there's the cult or the conspiracy ritual fashion,
Mhm.
which is probably very interesting and cool when you first learn about it, but is probably also uniform in its own way because it has to do with some codes or some occult
Yeah.
thing. And then there's like personal fashion as we imagine it now, which would be rebellious, period, right? That would just be like
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that
But
defies
I think
both of those orders. Yeah.
people who are vulnerable to the cult regularly mistake cult fashion for rebellious fashion.
Cool.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I see this person, they're a unique individual, they dress a certain way, so if I dress differently than the normal, I'm also going to be a cool person. But in fact,
And I think a key part of that, right, is that, like, because the nature of the conspiracy is that it is viral, like, a key part of that is because the conspiracy is constantly mutating, the line between cult fashion and personal fashion is incredibly nebulous and contested.
It's like difficult to
And so, like,
yeah.
what was personal fashion yesterday, today can easily be, like, co-opted and incorporated into the cult, and suddenly it's cult fashion now, or vice versa.
Right. Okay. So that's her style in real life. Her avatar. So visually, it's I think about like woven, drapey knits. I have a bunch of things in my thing here. I could link some of them here.
Yeah, it's like that cable knit.
Yeah, here's the one that I think I'm taking as one of my main inspirations. I was linking it in the chat.
Yeah.
The Rei Kawabuko. Yeah, I looked up a couple of Japanese designers who I thought were.
Ooh,
And
that's
a lot of
cool.
stuff with like strong shapes, but like inside out clothing almost, rags that have holes in them, but are very fashionable. But that's not what my avatar is about. My avatar is about voice, the human voice. So she wears words and she wears songs and she wears melody lines, and they're soft usually and they're woven together, they're harmonic, but sometimes they become a shout and then they're hard and they become a shield. And so her look is all of one color usually and one shape, and it's made up of, she wears things that don't look like they should become fabric and then they become fabric, and then they're modulated like the human voice, so they can express different levels of hardness and different levels of softness and different complexities depending on what's going on with her. And I haven't thought of a name yet.
Cool as fuck.
Cool.
That's a really
But also
idea.
it's
Yeah.
and this is an avatar that the cult gave her in a way. That this was her vessel. This is the vessel that she was made into in some important way. So there's also going to be some element of corruption. I think she leaks. I think things leak out of her in the same way dreams leak into each other. Her identity leaks out, so she's leaking like words and things like that.
Are some of the songs and words like cultic ritual
Absolutely.
elements?
I think
Yeah.
a lot of them
And
are.
that's what's bleeding out and trying to like infect. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So that's what I got.
Cool.
What you got is good. It's good
I'm
shit.
I'm
Everyone's
so inspired by both of these avatars we've heard so far. It's like I'm like it's I don't know. This good feeling is growing in my chest when I hear the ideas. They're very good. They make me really happy. Thank you for being awesome.
I can echo that sentiment. This is very lovely.
Yeah.
Um,
Good dreams.
So we've already heard a little bit about your character, Kira.
Yeah.
In terms of
I'm expecting some real good fashions.
So I do have real good fashions that are not culty. Were you gonna say something else, Andrew?
No, like I love this
Okay.
idea that your character, part of what makes them special is that they are able to
Yeah.
like make those kinds of statements in ways that other people maybe aren't articulate or whatever enough to do.
Yeah.
I think that's a really powerful theme within the kind of setting that we have.
I think so too. I also think it's very key to the Enigma character because
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
they're in costumes, right?
Yeah, totally.
They're very theatrical. What were you gonna say, Luke?
I would like to make a bid on Kira's behalf. Can we be conceptually generous in our definition of mask and let
I'll
the
consider it.
aesthetic be the mask?
Hmm.
And there doesn't have to be like a literal like mask involved.
I like the idea of there being a literal mask, or at least
Me
something
too.
that conceals the character's identity so that it is possible that other people don't recognize them.
Although I really like that idea, and that's cool because it fits for sure. So I'm playing Case. I am the Enigma. My pronouns are they, them, and my role and background are best friend, forbidden lover. I'm just trying to remember all the things I'm supposed to say.
Mm-hmm.
My obligation detail is I'm a technical college, and I think I just do average maintenance student work.
Yeah.
Like really tedious. Just normal stuff. Then I guess I describe my look.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think like in the real mundane world, Case looks like an androgynous human. I think they are maybe of Indonesian descent. I really like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And their style, their fashion is pretty cool. It's kind of like, it's a little like street and a little punk rock. Like they're trying to adhere to these subcultures in a way that helps them figure out their identity, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and who they want to be. So I'm picturing, just kind of like maybe colored hair, or maybe some like awkward combined looks of like, boots and pants, and then sometimes makeup, but like it's like very weird.
Yeah, it is inconsistent in terms of people's expectations of gender presentation.
Yes, that in addition to like it's them experimenting with makeup. Like they just don't really know. Like there's like lots of black lipstick and bold colors, and it's not very well done.
Right, it's that, yeah, which is a very punk thing too, right? I'm just like, I'm just doing it on my own, and I don't have like formal training in this thing, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm picturing that. And I think that their avatar, their mask. So their mask is, I think, it's like a human face. It's shaped like a human face, like very basically, very abstractly, but it is like a series of very tiny wires that are kind of like woven together to kind of appear like muscle and skin, and eyes and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's deeply layered, like it has the muscles built in and then a layer over top that is the skin, like it's all stacked up.
Yeah, or maybe it moves or something, like it's weird. I don't know.
I
don't know.
It exists in the dream, so
Yeah.
It can be as weird as you like.
Yeah, so it's kind of uncomfortable. It's like, it looks like it could be a human face, but it's not a human face. It's clearly like just a series of wires.
It's some Uncanny Valley kind of vibes with it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It would freak me out if I saw it.
Kira's just like, what would be uncomfortable for me? Yeah, okay, we're doing that. Yeah.
Hope everyone's on board with that.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
Cool. And then I think the rest of my body, my avatar body, would be importantly, my avatar's name is Love.
Great.
Yeah. And I think that my body is made up of like these cobbled together, like, how everyone dreams of flying and being free? Like I think their body is like just like all these different wings. So like like bird wings and butterfly wings, kind of like all over the place, kind of like a like if a costume could have like moving wings type of thing.
Right, and is it that it's a body composed of wings, like every part of the body is wings, like folding together, or is it a body wearing wings? Just for
I'm not sure. I'm a little torn.
Either way, there's like some super strong like early weird Gnostic Christian like angel symbolism shit, right? With like fucking endless wings and too many eyes.
Yeah, all I need is 4 animal faces, and
exactly, right? Like you're nearly there.
It'd be like a seraphim.
I've also just realized the way that we are all describing our avatars as a media touchstone. I don't know how that anyone else feels. It's super reminding me of American Gods.
Yeah.
And like all the weird god flesh effects that the new gods get, where suddenly they're like weird and like digital, but they're still faces. Yeah.
I think that my whole body is made up of wings, because that also freaks me out.
And I love this idea of your character having built this thing by taking all the wings that they find in the dream, and then like
things that could be wings,
stitching them together. Yeah.
For you, but don't look like wings for other people.
Yeah, it's almost like people metaphorically abandoned their dreams of being free, and like they just went around and picked up the pieces of them and put them inside of themselves.
That's real sad.
They're the wings of they're all the wings that like during high school, as these kids get like turned into docile citizens and accept like conformity, they like lose these dreams of flying and freedom, and you just like gather up all the discarded feathers. No, that's sad.
That's exactly the right amount of sad.
Okay.
That's perfect, Kira.
Everyone's
perfect.
It's sad in a beautiful way.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and then, you know, because they discarded them doesn't mean that, you know, Case couldn't learn from their dreams, basically. Like, I feel like my character's trying to learn how to, you know, how to grow, how to get to the next level. And like, this is like helping them.
This also connects back.
Can I make it sad?
What are you thinking, Luke?
Kira, I'd like to offer you a devil's bargain before the game even starts. No. Does your character sometimes just inexplicably cry in the dream? Because these wings all are like laden with like loneliness and abandonment and desolation?
No. Because I really like that idea, but I think that, well, because my character's name is Love, I think it's going to be more hopeful.
Yeah, there's more of an optimistic vibe.
Like something about reparation, like.
Yeah, no, totally. I just wanted to put a sad possibility out there in the world.
I love that.
It's my job.
I love going for the sadness, and I'm happy that you suggested it.
Because we did talk about, and like, Kira, your idea fits this. We talked about how the avatars carry, like, all of these objects carry a story with them that is unknown to the characters. And so, that all of these highly symbolic objects that you have collected carry this emotional weight with them.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea. I'm not saying this needs to apply to Kira's character's case, but like, I like the idea that we choose an object and we think it fits one thing, but that may not be what it was at all to the person who had it.
Yeah, exactly.
What looks like wings to your character might not have been wings to them.
Yeah,
that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, you know, Love is just applying that, you know, with their bias.
Yeah, your symbolic language of what wings represent. Yeah. Right, whereas for these people who shed them, their story that they tell themselves might be that this was like a ball and chain, a weight that was holding them down, or something that was holding them back. Like they
childish fancy and foolishness.
They couldn't pass through a door because they had these wings coming out their back, and they had to shed them. Right, that this was a. So the context means everything. Yeah, which I think is part of what makes this all so cool.
Yeah. Did I describe everything I needed to for my character?
Yeah, that sounds great. Cool. So now we're gonna go around and write promises. But sorry, yes, Daniel, go ahead.
I have some questions. So, Kira, your character's role is best friend and forbidden lover, and I don't.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea for who is involved with that? I would like to hear about that before we start making promises.
So
'Cause
I
you're-
wasn't.
Both of yours are like connections. So
They are, and I wasn't sure if that was involved in the promises or not.
Definitely, these are things that connect you to the other characters. So they, if we want to talk about like things from other games that are like this,
it informs it, right?
yeah, these are like bonds in Dungeon World or some of those other kinds of mechanics that are about connecting characters. So it's a way that we can show things like, yeah, like who your lover is, or right, like that could easily have been, if Ash took that role, like her lover could be her rival. We could use that mechanic to show it, but using promises is a good place to show it as well.
yeah,
So-
that's kind of why I was curious. Because if we're best friends, I might make a certain promise to you that otherwise I might make to someone else or things like that. So I was
Oh, I
curious.
see.
Yeah, like I think it's important emotional context to our relationships
So maybe
before we make. Yeah.
maybe I should go first with my promises so that I can define those, and then you all can make choices based on those relationships.
I think you have the
Yeah, you
most
could just-
decisive pair of like potential connections, right? Like being someone's best friend and someone's forbidden lover are very loaded notions.
And specific. Whereas
Yeah.
like I'm a weary caretaker, that could just be a general thing.
Yeah.
As much as it could be like one person.
And
so
before we get into that, I just feel like we probably are due for another break because we're
Oh, we're well overdue. Yes.
so we'll do a real quick break and then we'll do promises and then we'll probably call the session there.
take another break. No,
And
yeah.
So yeah, we'll be back in like a few minutes, just a short break.
Sounds good.